What's up, you guys? It's a great day to give you guys this message of an ego death that I had at age 25. It all started when I was born. I had a fear of poverty like no other. And that fear of poverty came from growing up in a town of 5,000 people where the average income is less than $28,000 a year. And my dad left when I was born. My mom had three brothers, or my mom gave me three brothers who all didn't have their father in their life. And that forced me at a young age to figure this shit out. But it also implanted in me a hatred for our situation. I hated that we were poor. I hated that people judged us. And in the fourth grade, when I had that experience, I hated the fact that my football coach picked my family to go in a separate hotel when we had our sports event vacation because they ran out of spots. We were the family they picked, and I was always the black sheep. I was always looked at as other, like one of the only black kids in this small town. I just never felt like I fit in, and I hated it. And in spite of that, I was going to be successful one day and prove to them that I am worthy of all these things that you guys have. Just because I don't have it in this circumstance, in spite of that, I'm going to prove to you that I'm worthy. And you guys, what that led me to do was go on this hero's journey that was fueled by my ego. I wouldn't have it any other way because of the man I am today. But I'll tell you this one thing. After 5 years of proving to the world that I was worthy through my accomplishments, I had to look in that mirror and I was shook by what I saw. When I took that mask off, that overachieving mask, that trying to show the world mask, that the mask that I really wore was a weight on my shoulders. And from that moment on, I became an offering to the world. My name, Joel Alexander. Joel means Yahweh is God. You see the tat. Helper of mankind, that's my name, Alexander. So to me, I'm an offering to the world to be a messenger of truth and to help mankind. And I would do that from this day forward. But it all started with that kid in that basement in Ohio who wanted to prove to the world that he was worthy. And you see, I had to go through all that. I had to get everything I thought I wanted. I bought a brand new Tesla. I just sold it, you guys. I bought it for $80,000 and I sold it for $45,000 a year later after putting 3,000 miles on it. A brand new car. Scratched it up. I even wrecked it. And my insurance went up, and I just decided to let all that go and move to Mexico. And it really caused me to humble myself. I thought that I was successful because I had these things. But what happens when those results that made you successful are gone? You know, all that money I made a lot of mistakes because I didn't find the right guidance and mentors. I found the wrong guidance. So you got to really choose who you learn from in this life and make sure that they have exactly what you want. Because for me, what the mistake I made was, first of all, thinking that the money and the material success was going to fulfill me and bring me lasting joy and peace and inner tranquility and harmony with who I always wanted to be. And then second was not having that correct North Star of the right mentor who's going to guide me to the promised land. You see, that's my whole message here, is that I'm living as an offering from now on. And I mean, from that ego death I had many small ones along the way. When I was starting my fitness journey 2 years ago, you guys, I had painted fingernails, I had red hair, I even did manicures and pedicures. Like, I was very feminine, I was very out of touch with myself, and I was looking for the truth somewhere. And I was in shock. Like, when I really looked at myself for what I really am and gave myself that accountability, and I looked in that mirror and said, oh wow, you're lost, homie. Like, that's what men are afraid to do these days. And I'm no longer afraid to look in that mirror, give myself the honest accountability, and, you know, like, call myself out when I'm being a bitch. Like, when I wake up in the morning and I saw that I would wake up at 7 and say, like, oh, I'm still tired, I need some extra sleep. And I would negotiate and sleep an extra hour. Or when it's my bedtime and I know I got an early wake up time the next day, I would sleep in. I would push my alarm back and say, no, I need my 9 hours of sleep, about 8 hours of REM sleep, or, you know, deep sleep total. Usually you get an hour less of sleep. The point is, I would always push it back to try to get the right amount of sleep. And that guy was never going to get anything done in life. His purpose, none of it. So all the instant gratification, I mean, anything from, like, if I got a desire, I would take it. Food. If I thought of sex, I would go bust a nut in the sock. If I thought of food, I would order the food on Uber Eats. and it would pull up to my door 30 minutes later. I would pay extra so they would deliver it faster. My groceries would get delivered to me. I was living in full comfort, you guys, and that just really breeded a man who didn't respect himself. I really reached my lowest point of depression, and I know that young men face this. They say like 80% of men have thought suicide or thought depression in their life, and I know what that feels like now. You know, growing up, I thought I felt it, but it wasn't until I actually went out and tried to prove to the world that what I knew was right and it was going to solve it, and then it didn't solve it. That's when I knew, wow, I really got it fucked up. That's when I felt my most depressed. And right now you think you're solving it with whatever you're doing with these vices. You just got to go find the joy within. And I did that through my habits. All I did was change my wake time. All I did was change my morning reading process. So I go straight into positive reading right after my wake time. I go straight into a strenuous workout. You guys just saw we did the ab workout. I didn't feel like doing none of that this morning. And then I go straight into making this macro meal. So I go home and have egg whites and chicken breasts. I break my fast immediately when I wake up, right after I do my morning reading, and post it on my story so you guys can see that I did it. And that's transcending myself. So now I didn't just wake up for me, I woke up for you. I want you guys to see that I haven't missed. I'm real consistent with this wake time. And so then I can break my fast. Our body's in an anabolic state. After we break our fast, it's in a catabolic state. It's burning our own muscle. It can be eating our own muscle if we don't eat something and fuel our muscles back. So the last thing I want to do is fast. I'm not doing the intermittent fasting. So I go ahead and have my second macro meal after the workout in a couple hours from now. I have a chef now that's going to cook a pound of buffalo a day and 6 egg whites and 2 potatoes a day. And that's my diet, you guys. I'm very simple, very quality food, but I'm not even drinking like juices. I don't really eat peanut butter like that. I don't eat like avocados. I'm just getting the very basic minimum requirements. I do chicken, I do bison and buffalo, I do egg whites, I do protein shakes. That's like 90% of my diet. And I season my food with salt. Like, it's so simple, you guys. And that's all purpose over pleasure. So right now, if you're currently in a state where you think you had it figured out, but it left you astray, I just want you to know that at the end of the day, you got to start choosing the pain of life. It's going to solve all your problems. The solution to your problems is the pain. Let's go!